in the end.
So after the success of Time Crisis 2, another sequel was inevitable. Unlike the last game, which was built for an earlier arcade board but got a significant visual upgrade on the PS2, Time Crisis 3 was always natively built for both its arcade board and the PS2. This is due to the fact that the game was chosen to run on the Namco System 246, aka PS2 arcade hardware. Fun fact, the game actually uses the engine seen in the PS2 version of Time Crisis 2. Assumably, development started sometime after Time Crisis 2 release, and it continued into 2002. The game finally had its arcade debut in February of 2003, or September 16, 2002 depending on your sources, for North America, and presumably Europe, and April 1st, 2003 for Japan. Like Time Crisis 2 before, it was a massive success in arcades. Naturally, the game would find its way to the PS2. Namco revealed its planned release in the pre-show to E3 2003. They revealed one of the game's new mechanics, in addition to bonus material planned for the port. Namco further went into detail at Tokyo Game Show 2003, while also mentioning how the game would keep everything that made Time Crisis 2 great. The game would also remain very faithful to its arcade counterpart in many ways. The game went gold on September of 2003, and it shipped a month later. Time Crisis 3 was released exclusively on the PS2 on October 21st, 2003 for North America, Halloween 2003 for Europe, and November 23rd, 2003 for Japan. Time Crisis 3 pretty much keeps everything that made the second game good, while adding some new twists and turns to keep veterans on their toes, and this PS2 port added some nice bonus content to round it out and flesh things out more. Let's take a look. The story of Time Crisis 3 takes place 6 years after the events of the second game. It's 2003. We shift our focus to the Mediterranean nation of Lucano and the island of Ostigos. It's a peaceful, beautiful area with nice beaches and a small town ordeal going on in the villages. Everything was peaceful and harmonic. Then, everything changed when the Zagorian Federation, led by General Giorgio Zod, attacked. A group of defenders formed the Lucano Liberation Force to fight back against the Zagorians, but when the world needed them the most, their leaders, Daniel Winston and Lieutenant Jake Hernandez, were captured, leaving the Liberation Force in turmoil. Alicia Winston, Daniel's sister, then investigates to find out what happened and comes across something big. The Zagorians plan to use tactical missiles to eliminate the Lucano Liberation Force and possibly threaten surrounding nations as well. She leaks this information to the BSSE, and then they send in two of their best agents, Alan Dunway and Wesley Lambert. It's up to the three of them to stop Zod from launching the missiles and rescue Daniel. Time Crisis 3 has three main modes of play. The arcade mode, which brings the arcade version of the game home, the rescue mission mode, a bonus mode with Alicia, and it plays similarly to arcade mode with one big addition, and the Crisis Mission mode. Crisis Mission mode pretty much functions the same way it did in the last game. The first 5 days have 8 missions, each for you to complete. 7 and then a Mission X, or EX, you get the idea. These consist of challenges like killing enemies in a certain amount of time, using one grenade to take out a whole group of enemies, etc. Each day gets more harder than the last, and the final day has the 2 toughest missions, including a showdown with the game's 2 main characters, and the second final day mission has you trying to stop several missiles from getting far off. These challenges are even tougher than the ones in the last game, and if you can master it all, you'll be a pro in no time. Beyond that, the game pretty much does play out like the past games before it, but it does come with some twist. Time Crisis 3 pretty much plays out like its older brothers. You have a pedal, or equivalent button on the PS2 version, you can press to pop in and out of cover. You're on rails, so the game moves you while you pop in and out of cover to take out enemies. The standard soldiers return as bad guys, along with guys who can throw axes and grenades, guys with rocket launchers, ninjas with Wolverine-like claws, heavy machine gun guys that require more hits, guys with flamethrowers. Yeah. That's not even counting the copious amounts of vehicles, tanks, jeeps, and guys on motorcycles, and other equipment and explosive objects you can shoot at. Oh, and the bosses are even more crazy than the last game, but more on those when we get to them. Crisis flashes do seem to happen more often, even on lower difficulties, and they tend to come out of nowhere more often. Even the regular green-colored guys can actually get hits on you if you're not too careful. To help you take out enemies faster, you're given 3 additional weapons in addition to the default handgun that functions the same as it did in the last games. But these weapons are a bit different. First, what are they? Well, there's the machine gun, holds up to 200 bullets. That's good for taking out clusters of enemies or other objects very quickly, especially several heavy machine gun guys. The shotgun holds up to 50 shells, can help drain other enemies' health very quickly, and it can actually feel very rapid fire in nature. The 5-round grenade launcher can help clear clusters of enemies or drain bosses' health very fast. To get more ammo for these weapons, shoot the yellow-colored enemies. They look like the regular ones, but they just have yellow to them. Other than the weapon select system, if you played Time Crisis 2, you'll feel right at home. The rescue mission mode is pretty much arcade mode, but it's from the perspective of Alicia Winston. That's not the only change in this mode. The way the extra weapons work is another one of them. There's a sort of upgrade system that, as you kill more enemies with the machine gun, shotgun, and grenade, the meter above the ammo count will increase, and the gun will be given an upgrade for more ammo, fire better, etc. Honestly, this just feels tacked on and makes certain segments more difficult than they need to be, especially because of one design choice, but more on that in a moment. The other big change here is the addition of sniper stages. There are at least quite a few stages in this mode that have Alicia using a sniper rifle. These sections are very similar to Konami's Silent Scope. You'll either press A, B, or C button, and then use the thumb con to move the aim around. The sniper only has 3 bullets, and crisis flashes can happen here as well. I've never really been a huge fan of these parts of the rescue mission in general. Sniper segments in general often require a level of calmness and patience, and putting that in a game where time is not on your side seems like a clash of styles. As a result, these sections feel more impatient compared to Silent Scope, which even though that game is on a time limit, it feels less imposing compared to here. But nothing really grinds my gears about this mode quite like the way continues are handled here. See, as opposed to arcade mode's normal continue where you left off, rescue mission mode continues when you use one continues at the start of the level. Any upgrades you lose and you'll have to re-earn them. I guess this is because they're shorter, but one thing that makes this frustrating is the difficulty. There seem to be way more crisis flashes and way more other moments that can cause you to lose multiple lives very quickly, even when you have all 9. It's not as bad in arcade mode, but here, it makes this part feel longer than it actually is. In spite of this, the game still controls pretty well for the most part. Once again, the Gun Con 2 is the best way to control the game for both the arcade version and the rescue mission mode. A, B, C, and the thumb con let you get in and out of cover. You can set up the inverse, which may actually help with the Sinden, because once again, the button layout for the Sinden is not so favorable for the rescue mission side of things. For arcade, it's fine, like Time Crisis 2, but maybe have an extra pedal as an option? I don't know. Though the pump option on the Sinden that's mapped to the C isn't so bad, but due to the D-pad placement, the sniper sections are a bit tougher to navigate since it's not placed in the best of spots. The thumb con was placed right behind, where your thumb could easily navigate it. With the Sinden, it's on the left side, so you kind of have to hold everything awkwardly. Well, that, and the other button placement alongside the Sinden makes it more of a pain in the ass to control it all. Okay, in spite of this, you'll probably survive from a control standpoint. Just don't use the controller. Light gun games plus normal controller equals pain. Also, the PAL versions use the Gun Con 1, or they can use it, but other versions can't. Oh well. The graphics are actually pretty good. Sequels always seem to lend their way for improvements, and Time Crisis 3 definitely fits the bill. Textures for things like environmental pieces, rocks, coast, and other things like that look to have more polygons and less jagged edges. It really is tapping into the power of the System 246, which was always one of Namco's best boards in my opinion. Not to mention, the change in the environment can lead to some different areas not normally seen in the past Time Crisis games. We got a beach with nice looking water, a wrecked ship, a roadside battle, small town battle, not unlike the one in Time Crisis 2, a mountain/waterfall battle, a train battle, because again, TC2, and a military base battle. Objects placed in each of these levels match where they should be, and the whole thing really gives you some nice variety to look at, especially since some of the levels are longer than the previous game. On top of that, the game actually does seem to use a lot more bright colors like the arcade version of Time Crisis 2. In general, it really seems that Time Crisis 3 was built to take advantage of some of the new additions in the Time Crisis 2 PS2 engine, but with a game natively built for it, as opposed to just being upgraded. Not to mention, the same action movie-like feel from the past games is here. The set pieces, the cutscenes, which all the animation in this game looks good by the way, yeah. In general, I've always really liked how this game looks, and it has always stuck with me ever since I played this game as a kid. The sound design is also pretty good. Gunshot sound effects have been given a slight upgrade to sound a bit more distinct, and they still sound fine. Special weapons also have their own unique sounds, and they sound as expected. Enemy weapon sounds has less of an impact, sans for bosses with special guns and attacks, and crisis flashes, but they still work for the most part. Other sound effects for things like vehicles, explosions, and other environmental pieces fit the bill. The music is also pretty damn good too. From epic sounding Save the World-like music, with the series' main riff still being used, though not to a huge degree, to a more rock-like oriented soundtrack in some sections. And heck, Stage 2, Area 2 has like a big RPG battle kind of like music here, which is awesome. Just the feeling of epic action movie is still here, and there's probably going to be a couple songs that get stuck in your head. The voice acting is actually a step up from the past games. It seems Namco knew when to blur the line between serious and cheesy, getting away from good, bad, and landing more somewhere in sometime like Commando, Predator, any kind of action movie like that. Also, craziest thing I found out is that the voice actress for Alicia Winston is none other than Melissa Hutchinson. Yes, that Melissa Hutchinson who voiced Clementine from Telltale's The Walking Dead games. She actually does a good job here, as does everyone else in the cast. There's quite a bit of bonuses and replayability to unlock here, especially from the bonus modes. But since there's quite a bit of it, and for the sake of proper flow here, we're going to break down the story first. Since Rescue Mission and Arcade Mode overlap, I'll go in proper chronological order of all the stages. I'll flip between the two and I'll do my best to make indication of what is where. Let's go! We start with the Rescue Mission mode, which opens up with a news broadcast. This just explains everything already established in the main intro, mainly about the Zagorian Federation's quick takeover of Astigos Island. The United Nations is also mentioned about having to send military to intervene to stop this from getting out of hand. This is despite complex political interests in the region making things more difficult. We're also told of the capture of Daniel Winston and Jake Hernandez in addition to members of their army, and we're told that the Zagorian Federation will return them in exchange for the Lucano Liberation Force's surrender. That doesn't work for them. We cut to Murano Beach, where Alicia is infiltrating.
What's going on? We have an intruder! The Lucano troops? Hey, what happened?
This takes us to Stage 1 of Rescue Mission Mode. You'll fight through waves that go from calm to intense in a heartbeat, bladed enemies, and the standard number of normal enemies. Not much more to say here. We then go to the coastal battery turret, which is occupied by enemy forces. Only one thing to do: snipe our way through. Alicia breaks in and finds information about the missile.
So this is what they were hiding.
We then cut to the following day. Alicia sends the info to the VSSE who get the ball rolling on this.
Your information is appreciated. I have sent in 2 of our best agents for support. They will be landing on Murano Beach. Rendezvous is at 0800 hours.
Yes, sir. I'll head for the beach right away.
We're transferring their profiles to you now. Unfortunately, they left before we could provide them with information about you. Currently, we have no way of contacting them.
This finally takes us to the first stage of Arcade Mode, the first area as well. Alan and Wesley are posing as fishermen off the coast of Murano Beach, getting ready to strike.
Here they come. 5, maybe?
No, I'd say 7.
What do you think you're doing here? This is a restricted area.
Stop right there! Oh my god!
Only here can we get an explosive entrance. The two then run through the beach while taking out various enemies, avoiding an exploding lighthouse, playing duck hunt with the parachuting soldiers on the beach, trek through the trenches, and end up at the grenade launcher turret. The two then proceed to take it out, which flicks us back to stage 3 of Rescue Mission. Assumably, this is what Alicia heard, and knew that was them being here.
What's that smoke?
That must be them. I better hurry.
That's like the reverse of that famous throwing off coat gag from Yakuza. Like, seriously. Stage 3 has Elisa try to fight through the city, all while civilians are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. It doesn't help that if you accidentally shoot one, you lose a life. This is why there aren't hostage sections in Time Crisis, because when they try to put them in here, they go overboard. In any case, Alicia makes her way over to Murano Beach, but notices a ship in the distance, piloted by Victor San.
Like sheep to the slaughter.
This covers the last part of Stage 1, Area 2, Arcade Mode. As the ship falls on its side, Alan and Wesley clear out enemies. Both Alicia and Zahn meet up with them.
You're finished.
Jump! Hurry! There's no time! Come on!
Say goodbye.
He's on our tail!
The end goal for Stage 4 / Stage 1 Area 3 remained the same. Take out Victor Zahn and that big-ass VTOL. Alan and Wesley work to take out both the front and side machine guns and the top rocket launchers. Alicia handles the other weapons. Both have to handle bikes and jeeps that have these other bad guys, and Zahn himself. Zahn has a powerful machine gun. Both sides have to deal with him using a Gatling gun. Arcade side deals with hand grenades, while Rescue Mission deals with a rocket launcher. Either way, through the combined efforts, he goes down and the two sides get acquainted with each other.
My name is Alicia. I'm with the Lucano Liberation Army. And you two must be Alan and Wesley from the VSSE.
Are you working alone? You're out of your mind.
My brother, our men, were captured by the Zagorius army while carrying out a mission to destroy the tactical missiles.
I see. So they're using the hostages as bait to force the resistance to surrender, right?
Yes, but that will never happen.
And so you came all the way by yourself to rescue your brother.
We then start Stage 2, Area 1 of Arcade Mode / Stage 5 of Rescue Mission. The three are making their way through the town as they plan to make their way to the base.
The tactical missiles are hidden in the military facility located at the summit of this mountain. We'll need to use the railway on the far side of this town. It's been used for supply transportation, and it will be our only route to the facility.
We better split up! We'll meet at the station up ahead!
The train leaves at 1500! Don't be late!
Alan and Wesley make their way through the town that eventually culminates at the town square, where there are several bad guys on motorcycles. The shotgun is especially useful around here. The two then make their way through a mountain / waterfall area.
Are you sure we're heading the right way?
Actually, I was just following you.
What?
Well, guess we came to the right place.
This area has them trekking through a back area over a series of barrages, and eventually culminates on the bigger body of water where these part submarine, part floating boats pop out. These can also be dealt with via the shotgun. Alicia also makes her way through the town at the same time Alan and Wesley do, but when they go off on their path, she stays behind because another crummy sniper sequence. Stage 6 for her. One of that later, we get to stage 7. She finds Jake alive. Jake explains what happened, but upon being offered a chance to rescue his superior...
Jake, will you come with me to rescue Daniel? What are you doing?
If I take you to them, I might get an extra bonus.
You traitor!
A man can't live on just dreams and ideals. Your brother was worth a lot of money.
Yeah, he turned out to betray his own forces for the pursuit of money. Alicia then has to fight Jake through the town, who also loves to take ladies as hostages because... just because. Stop it, game. Fortunately, Alicia fights through the madness and tries to get answers out of Jake.
Is my brother alive? Answer me!
Go!
It's time. I have to get to the station.
It's at this point everyone meets up in the nick of time.
Alicia, she didn't make it.
You sure about that?
Alan! Wesley!
Come on, hurry.
So yeah, more ninjas and the man leading them, Randy Garrett. Alan and Wesley fight their way to the front of the train, much like Heath and Robert did in Time Crisis 2. Alicia, meanwhile, stays at the back of the train and deals with a dedicated train car with a more ridiculously powerful machine gun that needs to be beaten 3 times. Both also deal with those damn ninjas. As she takes it out, the boys are still dealing with enemies. And once again... more crummy sniper sequences. This one at least has an interesting perspective when it switches to have you look down from a higher point. Heights are still scary even in game form. Right when she gets back into form, this happens. So now we actually have to fight on a mola-rammed bridge, shooting bad guys to get them to fall to their death, climbing back up, and then finally dealing with Garrett and his golden ninjas that take more hits than normal ones, even with the special weapons. Everyone deals with who they need to deal with, and that's it.
Alan! Wesley!
Alicia!
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. But guess we're on foot from here.
How exactly are they supposed to cross the bridge when, you know what, let's not think too hard about it. The trio finally make it to the base as we start Area 3 for Story Mode, Stage 10 for Rescue Mission. The 3 manage to find Daniel still being held by Zod.
Daniel!
That's your brother?
The rebels are still refusing to surrender. Maybe your death will teach them a lesson.
It won't do you any good.
Don't worry. If they don't surrender, I have another option in mind.
Daniel!
Wait! We'll take care of the enemy troops. You go and rescue your brother, okay?
Ready to make some noise?
Oh yeah.
They split off and go on their own paths. Alicia takes the back way. Not much exciting happens here. It's Stage 3, Area 1 of Arcade Mode where the fun is. Alan and Wesley make their way through the base. They dodge a falling tower, shoot up a tank, and lo and behold, the final part of this area culminates with...
Whoa! Surprise, surprise.
Wild Dog, don't you ever die?
And he's not alone this time either.
Whoa! What the? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wild Fang, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I'm convinced Wild Dog is like a cat with 9 lives, and now he's got a partner to help him out. So yeah, now we have 2 to deal with. This fight is even crazier than the last 2 times you fought Wild Dog. Wild Dog pretty much does what you expect. Tougher weapons, including a flamethrower at the last part for him. And then there's Wild Fang. This guy can kick like hell, kick big-ass objects like crates and steel beams, do dive kicks, and even kick a goddamn forklift.
They tried to kill me with a forklift. Huzzah!
The shotgun is very effective at draining their health, but mind your special ammo. With enough work, they both go down.
Ow! Beaten by a couple of young punks.
Now we get to stage 11 of Rescue Mission Mode, which coincides after the Wild Dog fight. Alan and Wesley go to rescue Daniel, but are stopped by Zot.
Hold it right there. Looking for him? Drop your weapons.
Daniel, hold on.
Now this sniper section is a bit different than the others. You only have 1 bullet, 1 object to shoot, and only 5 seconds to do so. Be quick. Afterwards, Zot flees.
Stop! Alicia, we're going after him. Take care of your brother.
They split up once again and take different paths. Stage 12 of Rescue Mission has Alicia going through the barracks and fighting off enemies while rescuing her fellow Lucano Liberation Force members. Meanwhile, Alan and Wesley trek to the other side of the base while chasing Zod. She decides to blow it up to make it more difficult to find certain enemies in a sea of flames. Not really much happens in this part. It's not until we complete the stages that the beginning of the end commences. Alan and Wesley are chasing Zod and get separated by a group of soldiers.
You're toast.
Help arrive just in time.
Alicia! Zod's headed for the missile controls! We gotta stop him!
Alright! We'll take care of things here!
Thanks!
Meanwhile, each campaign has their own final boss. Jake, meanwhile, is getting ready to flee in another VTOL, but Alicia and Daniel spot him as he runs off.
Keep it up, guys. Once I get my money, I'm out of here.
Jake!
That double-crossing bastard.
Jake boards a VTOL with the warhead, but Alicia isn't too far behind.
Jake!
Alicia, don't ever quit, do you?
You're not going anywhere!
With the money I'll make with this, I can go wherever I want!
It's never quite clear how much money he's given, but I guess it's a lot given that line. Anyways, this boss is a mess. As if Jake with his knives kicking and damn near perfect firing isn't enough. There are way too many crisis flashes from both enemies you expect and the guns on the VTOL, which thankfully only turn around this time. And it's just too much in general. The stage is definitely easier with a Gun Con 2 than a Sinden, and it makes unlocking the bonus weapons, unlimited ammo, a pain. Now you see why the retry stage from the beginning was a complete and utter bad idea. With the VTOL in flames, Jake makes one last-ditch effort by arming the warhead and threatens to take everyone with him.
Damn you all! You're going down with me!
A few moments later.
That bullet already KO'd him, by the way. The explosion just took care of the cremation. Meanwhile, while Alicia is doing this, Alan and Wesley corner Zot to where the missiles are, but the target has been armed and the launch sequence is about to commence.
Too late, my friends. These missiles are all targeted for Lucano and ready for launch.
What?
I should have gotten rid of that pesky country a long time ago. to get rid of you both.
Zod himself is a real pain in the ass. He's got really good aim and is not afraid to attack you up close with his sword. He'll trek through the middle of the base, over the computer area, which shows off some nice destruction when you shoot the monitors, then on the upper walkways, then back on the ground where he throws these giant tanks with electrical beams that can zap you on you, and on the last phase he has 2 rocket launchers. Finish him with your special weapons and that's it. But the sequence is still armed.
It's too late. No one can stop the missiles now.
What?
Alan, over there!
The two then use rocket launchers to try and cave in the roof to stop the missiles. Alicia just makes it over there as the roof collapses.
Daniel! Where are Alan and Wesley?
They're still in there.
Oh, of course they made it. Why wouldn't they? Alan and Wesley head off with their work done, which ends arcade mode, while Alicia and company finish the job they started, which ends rescue mission mode. Unlockable bonuses include free play and extra lives for arcade and rescue mission, which they have to be earned separately for both modes, meaning your credits unlock and free play unlock do not carry over from arcade mode to rescue mission, a different title screen, infinite ammo for all guns, replaying stages when you want, crisis mission, music player, mirror mode. Yeah, most of these will depend on how well you do. Quite a lot here.
Now we've got to mop up the remaining Zagorian force.
Yes.
Time Crisis 3 took a lot of what worked in Time Crisis 2, expanded on it, gave it a whole new feeling with a change of scenery, and on the whole, it's still a fun game. It also looks, sounds, controls, and plays well, and has a wealth of bonus unlockable things to keep you coming back. However, the game is definitely much harder than Time Crisis 2 thanks to more crisis flashes appearing, even on lower difficult enemies. The Rescue Mission Mode sniper segments don't control well with the Sinden, and even with the GunCon 2, these segments are kind of meh. Not to mention, Rescue Mission Mode has its own other flaws, like being forced to start over stages from the beginning. Some of the stages themselves, like the one with all the hostages, aren't particularly great. And the pacing can be a bit much for some, especially compared to Time Crisis 2. Despite these flaws, I still love this game. This game is always going to hold a special place in my heart due to my memories of playing it with family. So, when I finally got my own copy almost 16 years ago with 2 GunCon 2 controllers, you have no idea how happy I truly was. I still have it to this day and I'll always treasure it until the day I'm done doing this. If you enjoyed the past games, definitely play this one. Those with proper GunCon 2 setups probably already have, but if you haven't and you have either option available, GunCon 2 or Sinden, go for it. The game by itself is about 15 bucks. The gun bundle is 75, and the 2-gun bundle is 110 bucks. Yeesh. You can probably buy this game and the guns separately for a much cheaper price. Sinden will obviously cost more, but you can use the Sinden on the PC in addition to all the other GunCon 2 games on the PS2. So, yeah. Those who want to try before they buy, emulate. Honestly, just play this. Heck, you can play it in an arcade if you can. I just can't say that enough. I give Time Crisis 3 a 4 out of 5.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, click the big red button below to subscribe. Check out the other links in the description for more cool stuff. And check out the playlist on screen for more content. See you in the next video.